If you ever get a chance to sit down with a multi seven figure serial entrepreneur who is miles ahead of you in your journey, please stop wasting time asking, "So, what's your story?" High level operators don't network to trade pleasantries. We network to expose our blind spots and learn from each other. But most business owners are too terrified of looking incompetent or they feel insecure to ask the questions that actually matter. They stay stuck in like the polite, surface level small talk while their business is slowly eating them alive. Today, I'm breaking down 5 questions that smart leaders ask, but most people are completely afraid to. They aren't comfortable questions, but they're the exact ones that will compress years of business mistakes into a 10-minute reality check. And one conversation with another successful business owner can solve them. And you need to stay at the very end because question number 5 is probably the most brutal and will make you fire your favorite employee tomorrow. I know it makes me wish I had years ago. So let's get into it. Here's the first trap though that I want to mention before I go into the first question is there are massive laundry lists everywhere of like 20, 30, 50 questions, but distilling that down into these like 5 like surgical precision questions, whether you're talking to peers or to mentors, your goal is data abstraction. Okay. You're trying to not get a gold star. They were really nice. You are trying to be memorable and you want unsexy, like raw truth of what it takes to scale from like 200,000 a year to 7 figures a year. Okay. That's what you want to know. And so the question number 1 is how they paid their tuition. So what I mean by that, I don't mean tuition to college. I mean, what was the most expensive mistake you've made that I am likely making right now? Ask that question to when you have an opportunity to have FaceTime with someone when you are networking with them. What's the most expensive operational mistake you've made that I'm probably making right now? Success leaves clues, but failure leaves a blueprint. And you are bypassing the ego and asking them to reveal the hidden financial traps so you don't have to pay the same tuition. The thing is that entrepreneurs and business owners love sharing their mistakes with other aspiring leaders because they want to help them in the journey. And that's what we do here on this channel. So if you are tired of shiny, fake business people saying, like, you can make $1 million online by starting a YouTube channel or an Instagram, like that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is when you have no BS strategies that are from actual operators, people that actually know what they're doing and they are in the trenches. So if you want to follow along with our journey, subscribe and, on your favorite platform, whether it's YouTube or you're listening to it on the podcast. We drop episodes every, 2 times a week usually, and Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's just a daily dose of like things that I wish I had known 12 years ago when I was starting my entrepreneurship journey. All right. The second question is the vacation test. So ask the leader that you have FaceTime with, when you finally took a month off, what was the first system that broke in your business? If they cannot take off or you cannot take off a month for a sabbatical, for an extended leave, it means you have a job and not a business. And what this does is it forces the leader to talk about infrastructure, not just revenue vanity metrics. It gives you a direct look into how a real company delegates control and transitions from a chaotic job environment to something that is a self-sustaining asset. Okay. Number 3 is the profit reality. So a question to ask would be like, at my stage in business, what percentage of my revenue should I be aggressively reinvesting into systems versus taking home as profit? You are not going to get paid and become a 6-figure salary right away as a brand new entrepreneur in most cases. Okay. Maybe some tech startups, but even then, like the entry cost is so high to get in there. So a lot of your revenue is going back into running the business as you're growing it and getting it into a mature space. And entrepreneurs, this question cuts through all the fluff and forces a real conversation about cash flow and margins awareness. A question I asked in one of my networking groups this morning, and they had purchased another business, and I raised my hand to the person presenting and I said, "Hey, I want to ask you a strategy question. What was the advantage of buying that business versus just starting up your own?" And it was a specific licensure and client set that they needed to be able to have access to in order to grow that division of their business. And I was like, oh, wow, that makes sense. But those are strategy questions that are going to get you from where you are much faster to where you want to go. Okay, the number 4 question is like the tech clean out. Every entrepreneur loves having a tech stack that's like this deep, like, yeah, I've tried this tool and this tool and this tool, but that is not where efficiency happens. So asking like, what's one software tool or management system that you use that was totally garbage, that was complete BS? Because if you're bloating your business with tech stacks, not only are you paying out money that you don't need, but you know what to eliminate so that you can skyrocket your efficiency so much faster. And if you're listening to these questions and you realize you don't have a circle of people to be asking this to, you can't grow in a room alone. You can't. It's not going to happen. So you need a partner on your team. And that is what we do here is we partner one-on-one with entrepreneurs to help move them from where they are to where they want to go. And so you can click the link in my show notes and we'll book a free strategy call. I do free strategy calls with people all the time that literally just need a few minutes to run some ideas by someone. And that is what I love to do. It's my way of giving back to the entrepreneur community. So you can find that in any show notes on whatever platform you're listening to. And the last question, this is like, I'm going to call it the leadership cut, but it's really like, cut me in the throat because I like want to choke saying this out loud because this was the most costly mistake that I have ever made in the history of my companies. Okay. The single hardest question to ask a mentor, and if someone asked me this right now, I might get teary-eyed, right? It's that emotional, is who is the team member that you kept around for too long because you liked them, even though they weren't actually growing the business? Oh, if you say you don't have anybody, like I need you as my mentor because this hits to the core, like emotional pain of delegation and leadership and boundaries. And it forces the mentor to share the exact moment that they realize that they had to fire this person and get them off of their team to save the business that they built. And that exact thing happened to me in one of our businesses. And it is like an anchor. Like if you immediately thought of someone when I said that question, it is an anchor that will pull you down. It will pull your business down and it will divide everything that you have worked for if you don't eradicate it immediately. So do not sleep on that one. Do not sleep on number 5. Your growth will always be capped though by your comfort zone. So if you're capped at $1 million a year and you can't figure out how to get past that, your comfort zone is what's keeping you there. And if you keep asking the safe questions, you will keep getting predictable, like mediocre results, right? But if you have the courage, the structural courage to ask the hard questions, to push out of your shell and build a business the way that you know strategically it needs to be built, it will produce the freedom to be able to build a life around that business and that is something that you're proud of, that you actually live in, and that you're not just working like all the time and feeling like you're living to work versus working to live. Until next time.